Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Horse Center after taking a brief hiatus to spend the holidays with our families. We are so thrilled to be back here bringing you interesting interviews with people in racing. And I'm Wild Jamie. With me is the amazing Swiss Army Sean, my co-host, and our special guest tonight. I mean, you want to talk about a star. I love that opening video with the star across her face. I'm like, that's her. She's made one of the biggest debuts in recent memory for an apprentice rider, coming from seemingly out of nowhere, not really on people's radar, to just exploding on the Woodbine racing scene with 16 wins, 16 starts, 4 wins, 3 seconds, 1/3. For anyone who's counting, that's 25% in the win and 50% in the money. Just unheard of for an apprentice rider. That is Sophia Vives. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we are going to get into your background and how you got your start in racing, all that good stuff. But briefly, I just wanted to know, how planned was this debut? Because you just, like I said, you came out of nowhere and you just, boom, you're winning, you're hitting the board, you look amazing out there. And then just as soon as you had your name on everyone's lips, people can't get enough of you, you're going viral everywhere, everyone's talking about you, you just, poof, you disappear. You're back in Ocala, like totally off of the radar, because you're planning everything according to your goals for your apprentice year. I mean, how planned was it to just come out and like really get everyone's attention and then just kind of pull back and get ready for your, apprentice year to actually begin?
It wasn't, what happened was not planned. We win the 4 and then eventually have to stop, but I didn't expect to win the 4 in 2.5 weeks. Nobody did.
I know, it was really shocking. It was crazy. I saw your first win. Caber actually had it on his social media, and I just was like screenshotting it because I was stunned seeing you as a 10-pound buck. I'm like, who is this girl? Because I didn't know you at the time. And I put it on my Twitter because I was just amazed. I didn't even actually know your name at the time. My apologies. But I was just like, has anyone seen this girl ride? And then the next thing I know, it's like day after day. Oh, she won. She won 2. Now she won more. Like, oh, she's hitting the board on everything. She can't lose. I'm like, wow, so amazing. So, I mean, hats off to you. Hats off to your agent, the trainers, everyone who made it happen. It was truly phenomenal. And now everyone is really looking forward to your return to race riding. So good on you.
Thank you.
So I said that we were going to talk a little bit about your background. I know that you come from a racing family. Tell us a little bit about your dad and your uncle.
My dad, his bug year, he was the second leading rider that year. My uncle, he rode races for a long time too. My uncle passed away while he was riding, and my dad kind of got cut short. So growing up, I knew this is what I always wanted to do. I carried my dad's tack anytime I could. When I was in elementary school, I would skip school. He'd pick me up early just to go out to the barns and go stall to stall with him. So the horses were what I always wanted to do. Mom pushed me, finish school, you got to do school. And so I went through, I graduated, and as soon as I graduated, I got the opportunity to ride. And I was like, how can you say no? Especially when Mark Cassie asks you if you want to start. So I took the opportunity and we went day by day, and here we are.
Of course. Yeah. I love this comment here too. This is from Caber Koa, the next big thing. I agree. And I've told you that personally. I'm like, just, your style of riding, you look so good out there, especially for not having been riding for that long. It's just unbelievable. And then, you have a lot of things to go with it. I watched a lot of your interviews in preparation for the show, and you're so well spoken, like the camera loves you. You just handle everything with ease and grace. You're so young. I mean, Sean and I are constantly ashamed of ourselves because we bring these young people on this show that just, really have it going on and just take off. And you're definitely among that crowd. So we love to see it. And it also makes us cry sometimes. But anyway, so you grew up in Ocala. Tell us a little bit about that situation and, you know, we know your dad was a jockey, but you pretty much grew up on the farm around the horses themselves too, right?
Yes. I always shadowed Mark Cassie at the farm. My dad's been working for him for over 20 years now, so I was always there. It was like a second home for me. Growing up, I showed a lot with sheep, cows, and goats. I did a lot through 4-H, and so the animals in the farm was where I was every day. I couldn't get away from it. I always went to the farm. I don't know. It was home. If I could leave my bedroom to go to the farm, I definitely would any day.
So, what's your favorite animal that's not a horse? Sheep, cow? What are we talking?
Kara's gonna make so much fun of me, but a sheep, definitely a sheep.
Okay. I mean, they're gentle and sweet. They make nice clothing. I'm here for that answer. Okay. So I heard, did you work maintenance on the farm? Like, okay, how did that come about? Like, who looked at you and was like, yes, let's have her do maintenance, lift heavy things. Perfect. Like,
when I was 14, I wanted my first job, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and they asked me if I knew how to mow grass, and I said, no clue. I didn't work a lawnmower. Clueless.
So a natural fit. Okay.
I went, and I was on the mower 8 hours a day, and I just mowed grass, and then eventually I got to planting bushes.
Okay.
I was using a post hole digger every day, but anytime that I could stop my work to like peek by the track and watch the horses, I would. I knew the track is where I wanted to be, but to start from the ground, I guess mowing the grass and planting the bushes around the track was what they had at the time. So
hey, that's one way to get your foot in the door. And we've got a comment here from Grandma Horse Racing. I love this. They're bad. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Grandma Horse Racing. Always keeps us laughing. Okay. So how did it come about where you actually started getting on the horses?
Once I graduated high school, Mark asked me if I wanted to ride, and I said, yeah, it's always my dream. And he always said, no, I don't think that's what you want to do. I don't think, you're too pretty to do that. And I said, I think the horse is where I want. I don't want to mow your grass for forever. So he gave me the opportunity to learn, and we had some rough days, some really rough days, but, you just keep pushing through. And there's so many guys at the farm that gallop there every day. So if one thing doesn't work, you have 15 other riders to ask a question. And everybody has a different style. Not everybody gets along with every horse. So you can go off of them. And he just took it day by day, and we kept improving. And I skipped my high school graduation, and Mark didn't know I was graduating that day. And he gave me my first breezer for him. So it was kind of, I don't know, I just wanted to ride. That's it.
Yeah. And that was such a short time ago. It blows my mind, but that's great. I mean, obviously you picked it up very quickly and you're very talented at it. You are not just a passenger out there. You're really, you're doing the work. You're really getting those horses there. And a lot of times in places where it doesn't look like they should be there. So that's great. And for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, I've met you in person. You're so tiny. I just imagine that when you first started riding, that it was a real struggle. Like, I know myself getting on racehorses, I got run off with all the time, and I'm double your size. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
My first day, I tell everybody I had 5 horses. I got ran off with all 5 in the last one. So,
okay.
I had a lot to learn, but at the farm, it was good because they taught me my seat. They taught me my hands, It's not always about the strength and the muscle. You just kind of have to finesse them. And the guys at the farm are really good at it. They're talent. These guys here are so talented, it's unbelievable. So, like I said, you have 15 other guys there. And if you can't learn something from one guy, you have another 15 to ask. So it was a struggle. It really was. But I just kept going, and I kept pushing through. And even when I would get dropped, I just kept going.
Well, at least that wasn't too much weight to drop. I bet that you land a lot lighter than most people. So Grandma Horse Racing says that's a long way to a horse from mowing lawns. I would say so. And Willie Martinez says, keep surrounding yourself with the right company. Can't wait to see continuing chasing your dreams. Best of luck to you, Sophia. All right. So tell us a little bit about, you've been breezing horses in Ocala. What were your next steps in your career? Like, how did you start preparing for riding races?
Well, right before I started to learn how to ride, I begged my parents to get me an exerciser. I begged them, and we got one, and I was on it every day. Even before I rode on it, just to try to get my seat and get comfortable. And after I started working horses, Mark sent me to Saratoga. So that was nerve-wracking for that to be the first track I ever went to off the farm. Started working horses and started working with the big jocks up there, and everything kind of just unfolded. It was a good season. So then after he sent me to Palmettos, I learned a lot down there. Being at the training center is really good. The guys there are very talented too. Then after I went back to I went to Woodbine first, and that's where I stepped in, and I knew if I started riding, this is where I was going to start. So I kind of had to go in with a different perspective going there. I had to think more of, this is where my career's starting. This isn't where you can play and joke around. It's all business here. I met my agent. I got in with good people. They were very accommodating, very nice, and just took off from there. None of it was planned, Everywhere I went, I didn't know I was going. I knew 2-3 days before I left. So it's kind of nice, not knowing, and because you don't worry, you don't stress about where you're going next. You just work as hard as you can where you're at, and one step at a time, one day at a time from there.
Awesome. Very cool. And your agent, he's so nice. Jordan Miller, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were messaging back and forth on Twitter because I had posted, some videos and some articles and whatnot of you. And he'd be like, well, did you see this one? What about this? I'm like, oh, wow, it's so exciting. He's so great. And he's also the agent for the leading rider there in Woodbine, who recently relocated to Santa Anita. So yeah, very cool. Nice. Yeah, he's awesome.
So, Sophia, what was it about Woodbine that you knew Woodbine would be where you would start?
I knew that they give apprentices a good shot there, and they give girl riders good shots. And if I was going to be under Mark, I thought that would be the best place to start, and to learn the rules there too about the bug and how you can extend your time a little bit. It just seemed like the right place to go, the smartest move.
Okay. And every show we have on, and we have jockey on, and we say about their kids getting into it, they're like, no. So I got to ask the question, how was your dad, Laz, about you actually getting on the horse and being a full-time jockey?
Oh, he was all for it. The first 4 months learning how to gallop, he was all for it. My mom didn't even know. We never told my mom that I was riding the pony every day. So one day I said, oh, come to the farm, and they said, she seen me on a horse. She's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm galloping. And she's like, what? Oh man, it was fun, to kind of hide it from her, but my dad was all for it.
Awesome. And then the other thing, explain to our viewers the difference between 4 wins and 5 wins as an apprenticeship, and why you decided to stop to wait till the next meet.
Once I win my 5th, then my bug year starts. So I have 365. Well, in Canada, I have 365 racing days. So once I win the 5th, that's when my days start. I stopped at 4, so this meet I go and I'll ride the full 7 months. And then in wintertime, they allow me to freeze my bug and go back in 2024 and still have 5 months left with the bug.
Awesome. And when does Woodbine start up again?
In April.
Awesome. So what do you think your strength is as a rider in those 16 mounts, and what do you think is something that you really need to learn yet?
My strength is my confidence. I'm confident on every horse I get on. I don't have a doubt that I can't do something. I know that I'm capable of getting a horse around there. What I think I need to work on is situations. I mean, I only rode 16 horses. There's still so much you can learn. You learn something new on every mount. Even though older riders say it to this day that they learn something new every time they go out there. So situations, and when to be patient, when to make your move. If you're in between horses, like the logic, where you need to go, where you need to be, there's still a lot. There's a lot. 16 is nothing. 16
Yeah.
Nothing.
Absolutely. And then talk about that first win and that whole race and that whole experience.
It was pretty exciting because Steve Owens has known me since I was a little kid. He knew me from Ocala. He's known my family. I didn't know the horse. My agent and I went over the program. We went over the race. I knew where I needed to be, and it was in the lead. So I knew I just had to break, stay out of her mouth, sit and at the quarter pole, make your move, and she finished awesome. Everything unfolded great that day. So it was really exciting. It was a really exciting moment.
I love this comment here from Sean Patrick Nolan. Sorry, I'll get right back to you, Sean. Sophia looks like a 10-year veteran riding so close to the saddle. It's fabulous to see and can't wait to see her at Woodbine next year. I agree. I'm your biggest fan. I don't even care. Your parents can be number 2. Like, I love watching you ride.
Talk about that first time in the gate, first race. Like, what's going through your mind and how was that whole experience?
The only thing I thought of was hold the mane, hold the mane, hold the mane. That's the biggest thing though when you're an apprentice. Sometimes you're so anxious in the gate that you break in their mouths, and I knew it was a turf horse, and I could feel even in the post parade that she was a little sensitive in her mouth. So I didn't want to grab her. I didn't want to give her too much rein to where I couldn't control her. I didn't want to have too much in my hands to where she'd throw her head up. So I wasn't nervous. I wasn't super excited. I was calm. We broke out of the gate many times before my first race. Just hold the mane and break out of her mouth. Do not get in her mouth. That's all I could do. My dad talked to me right before that race, and he said, no matter what you do not break in her mouth.
Hey, mission accomplished.
First goal of the day was do not break in her mouth.
Awesome.
Do you have any, like when you're out there, are other jockeys talking to you, kind of helping you, or are there some out there intimidating you? How's that whole?
I don't think they try to intimidate you. And if they do, they didn't.
I love your confidence. Oh my gosh. Seeing a young woman like radiate that confidence. Oh, I love it.
They didn't intimidate me. They were very welcoming, very nice. I worked with a lot of them out in the mornings, and no, it was just like another day, breezing a horse out of the gate just with 8 horses around you.
A little bit of a difference. Grandma Horse Racing wants to know, do you get butterflies and when do they go away?
I only got butterflies crossing the wire when I won. And they went away. I mean, I had to eat dinner and all before they went away. I was so excited. Every time I did, they don't go away right away. But before the races, I was never very nervous. I was never scared, nothing. I just had to go out there and do everything that I was taught and learn.
All right. And we've got another question here. I'm sorry. They're like flying in. I'm going to try and keep up, guys. Okay. So from Fred Solurso, I don't know if I'm saying that right. My apologies, Fred. What advice would you give a rider who is just starting out, much like yourself?
Listen to everything an older rider has to tell you. And never say the words, I know. The older riders, they come to you and they give you advice, and in reality, they don't have to. They don't have to take time out of their day to teach you something or to help you improve. But if they do, you say, okay, thank you for the advice, thank you for helping me, and if you have a question, always ask, because there's never a dumb question there is, because it's your life out there. you always ask questions, always take advice, and just never say I know, because if you say I know, they are not going to come back to help you.
Yeah. So I wonder if you wouldn't mind just kind of briefly going over what goes into getting your jock's license, because I've heard many people commenting saying that basically if you weigh 100 pounds, you just show up and say, I'm a jockey, and they say, okay. No, we know that that's incorrect. But if you could just kind of briefly say, what all is entailed, the type of training and the type of examinations that you have to go through to prove that you are ready to ride a race.
Well, you have to get approved by the starter. You have to work out of the gates. In Canada, you have to work or breeze horses with 3 of the top 10 riders and get their signatures off on it. I mean, your weight is a big thing too. And in Canada, for me to be able to ride there, I had to get a working visa. I couldn't just go with a passport. So once you get approved by the gate and you get your 3 riders signed off in a physical, and they see that you're able to do it and that you have control of your horses, then you're pretty much good to go.
Awesome. And one more quick question, and then I'll let Sean take over again. What was it like going back to the jocks room after the first race that you won?
It was brutal. It was the second to last race that day. So Emma Jane threw me in the laundry basket. And, he's here, don't worry, She pushed me down the hall. She's like, we're just gonna do a quiet victory lap, no big deal. She pushed me in the girls' room, and everybody was waiting with eggs and ice water and baby powder, and they got me pretty good. I actually did not think anybody was going to get me. I was pretty shocked. They got me pretty good.
Nice.
So that was my next question. Now, you've been around the horses and the jockeys your whole lifetime, basically, but have you ever been starstruck?
Yes, all the time. It's hard. It's hard for me to pick out one moment, but there's a lot of smart riders, and a lot of times I watch the races and I say, wow, that was smart, or wow, maybe you shouldn't do that again, but I think if I had to choose one rider that I was very starstruck from, it would probably be Johnny Velasquez all day. He's just so smart and talented, and to be an older rider and to ride as short as he does is actually kind of amazing. You're like, wow, wow. And he rides back to back like that, and he tries on every horse that he has. He gets the best run out of every horse that he has, and he's truly a phenomenal rider.
That is a great answer. I'm a huge Johnny V fan myself.
So that's my next question is now, what jockey, so pick out a couple of jockeys that you think your career will be similar to, that you think you have the same kind of style to.
Oh, that's
that kind of just came to me. We can skip it if you want.
It's hard to choose because I'm just starting out and I don't know what I'm very, very good at, if I'm better in the short or the longer ones. And I hope that I'm good in all of them, and riders that are good in all of them is Johnny Velasquez, Mike Smith, Junior Alvarado. Those riders are truly very, very smart riders. You rarely see them do something that's a mistake. They go out there, they get the best run out of every horse that they have. And to watch those guys, they really stand out. And that's what I hope to be as a female rider. For people to see me and say, wow, she can ride. That's a girl rider that can ride.
Yeah. So what about if you were not to pursue being a jockey, what do you think you could see yourself doing that's not horse racing related?
Maybe the sales.
Okay. So still horse racing related, but
I think I've ever thought of anything outside of horses.
Okay. Hey, that's fair. I love it. The passion is important.
Outside of horses, what do you do for fun? Horses?
Ride different horses?
Nothing outside of horses. I mean, I enjoy.
You go to events with many dogs. I know that.
We a lot of dog park trips, so
That's fair.
I don't do much outside of the horses. I mean, I've always been around the horses. We buy and sell our own horses. It's in the family. After work, at our barn.
I've got a great comment here from J. Marco. There is no fun outside of horses. Well, there you go. Say no more.
More than people most of the time.
So now you're back in Ocala after traveling to Palmettos, Woodbine, Saratoga. What kind of lifestyle do you like better? The farm life, the quieter, or do you like the hustle and bustle of the racetrack? I feel like people are either one or the other.
I enjoy the racetrack, but Ocala's home. I mean, I love going to work here. It's different because you tack your own horses. You get on more than just 4 horses a day. So the guys here at the farm, they're so welcome. They're family. I've watched these guys ride since they were little kids, and everybody says Ocala is slow Ocala, but I think it's a little more fun than what people make it out to be.
I don't know. I lived there for a few years and I almost died, but I didn't know you. So maybe that was my mistake. We've got a comment here from Grandma Horse Racing. This is the only sport where females compete on a level playing field with the males. That's true. And that is pretty amazing. But obviously they can do it. I mean, we see lots of awesome female riders. And to me, you're the next big thing. Like, it could not be more obvious. I want it marked down right here. I want this on the record that I think that Sofia Vives is going to be a huge deal, and that the next time we call you for an interview, it's going to be hard to fit us into your super busy schedule, but I know you will anyway. So just want that to be on the record. So what is your typical day like there in Ocala right now?
I work. We get on a lot of horses here. I go 10, 11 o'clock. I go to our barn and I take care of our horse that we have here. We got a 2-year-old for the sales, so I get on her. I help Dad at the farm. Come home, take a nap. Go to the gym sometimes, go to the pool, hang out, and then do it all day.
And there is one more burning question that I must ask you that I have a hard time wrapping my head around. So I heard in a previous interview that you eat pizza with pineapple. Please tell me that's not correct.
Okay. That's my favorite kind of pizza. I mean,
it's like... and we were all on board with this. You've disappointed us now.
It's not.
We'll never mention that again. Just keep that.
Back to the writing.
I was walking back to the jocks room when he asked me, and I was like, "Well, the guy, I got the questions earlier, and I was like, did that guy just ask me if I eat pizza?" And then I did the interview on the phone, and I was like, he caught me out of the blue with it again, and I was like, "Yes, I do."
Well, like I said, we're just going to pretend we didn't hear that. Okay, moving on. Sean Patrick Nolan. Sophia is 100% a horse racing person, so admire that. She and Emma Jane look out boys, and 23. Yes, I like that. And then, J. Marco, I'll mention it next time she's on. No, we want to leave that behind. All right, Sean, what else have you got?
So I got 2 more questions. One, we say everybody, you brought it up about being a female. Have you experienced anything that you would say is because you're a female? Any sexism or anything?
No, but I believe it's going to come up, but you just be confident in your answers and you go out there and ride like the boys. I mean, there's no difference. You do your job just as good as they do theirs.
Absolutely. And sometimes better. And then the other thing is, what have you learned about the track itself at Woodbine so far?
It's probably my favorite track so far. You got the inner, the outer turf, and then you got the tapeta, which is it. I don't even know how to answer it, but I think it's an incredible place. Any horse there, if you have a dirt horse there, you know, they have the sand ring, they have the field, they have the training track, they have every horse can be accommodated there, I guess I could say. That I love the track, I love the people. Everybody's very welcoming. My agent, I met him my first day I was there and didn't even know he was going to be my agent. So it's a mesmerizing place. It's beautiful. If you guys could visit, that's like it's a track to visit. That's a place.
What about as far as betters? Like, you looking for more speed horses, or it's fair track?
I think it's a fair track. The only thing that could get you is the wind sometimes. It's right by there, so some days it's a lot windier than others, but usually speed carries. But it's pretty fair.
Do you study the wind before you know, that morning? Do you go out and study the wind and figure out how it's gonna affect you?
Honestly, I go out there and I'm like, man, it's pretty windy. It gets windy and it gets cold and it's brutal sometimes. But sometimes I look at the flags, you know, in the races that are going. I see the flags blowing like crazy, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a windy one today, you know.
Have you experienced any of the snow yet while you're riding?
Actually, no. I've never seen snow. So the day I left,
you're such a baby.
I won my 4th race. I left the next day, and some of the guys galloping sent me a picture of the water buckets frozen. And I have never seen that a day in my life. A water bucket. I was like, how does that even happen? So then I took a trip to Montreal the week after. And so we went a little more south of Toronto, or a little more north of Toronto. And I seen snow, and I was like, man, if I have to ride in this is going to be brutal. So I haven't experienced it, but next year is going to be the year.
Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to tune in for that. And we've got a few more quick questions. I know I said I was done. I apologize. From Tommy Two-Tone, any plans to ride at Fort Erie?
If the time comes, yes, I would ship there. I'm gonna do. The plan might be to do Prescott Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Woodbine Thursday to Sunday. So, if I have something good at Fort Erie, then I'd love to go. You know, I'd love to ride as many as I can, get as much experience as I can when I'm the bug, and just try to learn.
Awesome. And I will see you at Presque Isle. You know, that's where my husband rides all summer. So that's super exciting. And I'm sure you'll do amazing there. So, and a couple more quick comments. Grandma Horse Racing is telling everyone else, don't bet the girls so I can win more money. She has a great theory that really seems to be panning out lately. I keep liking and retweeting her tweets. She has a filly on filly theory that basically women riders are better on fillies and mares, and can, you know, kind of give them a little bump in performance, a little boost. And, you know, she highlights it all the time, like, oh, I won more money with Chantel today. Oh, I did it here. I did it there. Da, da, da. What do you think about this? Do you think there's any merit to the filly on filly theory?
I've never thought of it, but next time I ride a filly, I'm definitely gonna think of that comment. Hopefully I can win a filly on filly theory for you. Hopefully I can get one here.
There we go. And one more. Sorry, they keep coming in. Carly Myers wants to know, chicken or steak? What do you prefer?
Chicken.
Okay. No pineapple.
Yeah.
Okay. Just clarifying. I don't know what you're gonna say. So
yeah,
right.
You said you never experienced snow. I don't think I've ever experienced somebody eating pineapple pizza in front of me. And I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that tradition alive.
No.
Oh no. Maybe I shouldn't have said that in the interview.
There was no pineapple pizza at my wedding. So no. Awesome. You got anything else, Sean?
No, that's it. I was excited to talk to you, Sophia, and we're definitely going to be your biggest fans.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we love you here at Horse Racing Today. We just love following your career. Sean and I mean, we've all been a buzz about you. We've all been going back and forth and showing each other things. I mean, your debut was absolutely phenomenal. the whole racing world is on the edge of their seat waiting to see what happens next. So definitely cannot wait to cheer you on as soon as you're back up riding.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you have a good night, Sophia.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. I know. I knew it was going to happen, that I was going to be the big head. Oh, well, I was like, take one for the team. Sean does it every other time.
There you go. She had a week to think about it, and she said, I'll throw Sean a bone this time.
Yeah, there we go. And we got a few more quick comments I just want to get in here. Grandma Horse Racing, great interview. Thank you. And also, Jay Marco, great interview. Thank you guys for your input. It's much appreciated, and you always have interesting insights. Sean Patrick Nolan, when I see a jockey on the track, I never see them as a male or female, just a jockey. Yes, I agree. I tend to be the same way. But I do think that there is some merit in the filly on filly thing, especially if it's a more, I feel like sometimes women have softer hands. I know maybe that's a little sexist, but.
No, so I kind of agree with it, but I'd also think that could work the other way, couldn't it, too?
It could. I think it depends on the filly.
Yeah, because a lot of females will come on and say a lot of fillies are exactly like what you would say most females are. You know, they can be a little, you know, so if two females aren't getting along, what happens? So I could see it going the other way, too.
That's true.
where,
you could have a cat fight.
Yeah, where a jockey's like, listen, we're like, not today. Or maybe that's why they do so well, because they're like, hey, cut it out.
Right.
Where the male jockey doesn't know how to do it.
I never thought of that, but that is an excellent point, Sean. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there is merit to it. I mean, she keeps showing me examples of where she's winning money with this. So I'm just saying the proof is in the pudding. So, and Grandma Horse Racing's got one more comment here. You still have to handicap. That's true. You can't just say, oh, a girl on a filly. Woo, we're done. Yeah. Still got to take other things into consideration, but might be another angle to consider. All right, Sean, what else have we got coming up this week?
Well, you know, we talk about young females in the sport and a lot more coming through and stuff. Today started 5 straight horse center shows where we have young females in the business. So that's exciting. Yeah. Tomorrow we got Hannah Leah returning.
Yes.
Last time we talked to her, she was out west at Santa Anita. Then she was going to Penn National, which she did. Unfortunately, she did get hurt, so she's been off. And we'll get an update tomorrow on how she's doing and what her plans are after that. And then Wednesday, Electra Boone returns, and she was on before as well. She's done a little bit of, she's done not a jockey, not a trainer, nothing like, but she's done a lot of, she's assistant trainer, stuff like that. She's done a lot of different things, TikTok star, all kinds of stuff. So that's exciting as well. So we're back and we're back and ready to get right back into routine and provide great interviews every Monday to Wednesday.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else that we need to go over before we sign off here?
Tomorrow, Rich and Terry will be back in their normal time slot. I'm not sure what track. I'm imagining Parks again, as long as Parks' track's okay. I know now it thawed out. So Rich did notice that there was a lot of speed winning. So if that trend tends tomorrow again, might pay attention to that. So we have that, and then picks with the professor with your basketball, college basketball. The balls are winding down now, so you don't have that, but he'll always keep you there. So picks with the professor Twitter, and then Professor Side's Twitter, picks with the professor on YouTube.
Awesome. Wonderful. I'm glad you said all that, because that's quite the tongue twister. I don't know if I can pull it off.
Yeah, I did it without any notes too, just off the note.
I know. Look at you.
Obviously, at Horse Race Today, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yes, and that is why you are the spectacular Swiss Army Sean. The stupendous. I've got to come up with more good S words to match Swiss Army Sean. But yes.
Yeah, do a little bit of a tongue twister, so when Rich tries to repeat it during the, you get him tongue-tied.
But the problem is now it's Julie. Julie's like, nah, I'm leaving all that mess behind.
Well, no, but Rich tries to do it during the day too. When he previews us, he'll say, Jamie with the, or today he said how somehow I got so lucky that I got to be on with you and Sophia, which absolutely is the case.
I missed it because I was on the beach. Sorry.
Yeah, Jamie needs to go to sleep.
I do. I haven't slept in quite some time. So if I embarrass myself, the good thing is I'm so tired I didn't even notice. So
No, you did great. Like always.
Fabulous. All right. Well, like Sean said, do not forget to please like, subscribe, follow, share. Any of those things help us and help the algorithms get our name out there so that we can create more content and bring more fun stuff to you guys. We love your interactions. We love all of the love that you give us on social media. As you can see on this little thing across the bottom of the screen, it's Horse Race the number 2 day on pretty much every social media platform except YouTube. That's Horse Racing Radar TV. So that one's a little different, but there it is. Oh, look at this. We've got some suggestions here. Sweet Swanee, Swiss Army Shawnee.
What's the Swanee? What's the Swanee mean? I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. All right. Well, that takes us wire to wire on Horse Center. Thank you so much for tuning in with us and putting up with my slap happiness. And we can't wait to see you back again tomorrow night. Everybody have a wonderful night and a happy new year.